Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in today's video, we are going to be talking about what is new at IKEA for fall of 2022. So we are in that period where there's still a lot of their fall stuff in, and they've also got their eye on a lot of their holiday stuff, which is in store at IKEA just last week. And I'm here to talk about all the stuff that I really like, some of the stuff that I don't like, and we're just gonna talk about all that in this video. I'll also add that I will not pronounce any of the names correctly, because I never do. And like, people need to kind of calm down about that. Some people get really offended. Listen, not the Swedish people, by the way. This is like how the Swedish people have their fun. Like, you know, IKEA knows what they're doing. They just kind of live in Sweden, I think, to see people like me on the internet try to pronounce the like Flackenfruden and fail miserably, and that's fun for them. So we're gonna give them a couple of laughs, and then we're going to just move on because we're just talking IKEA. No one's lives are on the line here. So let's get going. Okay, but before we talk about IKEA, I wanna thank today's sponsor, which is Care of. And if you don't know who Care of is, they are a subscription service that ships high quality personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders directly to your home every single month. As I've talked about on this channel, I'm really trying to live a healthier lifestyle lately, so like I'm sure so many of you out there. But one of the biggest challenges that I face is being consistent. I can actually be really healthy for a week or so, you guys, but of course I really feel the benefits after I stick with it longer term. So I love Care of because they offer the convenience of shipping all those products regularly directly to my door. They also offer a whole range of products, and it's all personalized to you after you take their quiz, where they ask you questions about your lifestyle, and then they recommend products that you might need. Through this quiz, they recommended a few things to me, one of which is creatine, which after seeing the scientific studies directly on the Care of website, I decided to try, and I've seen some great results lately in the gym, which I'm really pleased with. So take Care of's quiz and see what vitamins and supplements they recommend for you. You can click on the link below and you can use my code NLEWIS50 for 50% off your first order with Care of. Now let's get back to those new products from IKEA. Okay, so first up, we have the Viskafors sofa. Okay, so it comes in a sofa, also comes in an armchair. I really love this one. I am not gonna lie. And you know what? I wouldn't probably put it in my own home because it's not my style, but I do really appreciate it. I think it's really cool. It comes in this beautiful sage green color, also comes in a lovely cream as well as sort of a charcoal, and it also comes in a brown leather. I checked out the brown leather. I checked out a couple of them when I was at IKEA. It is a really beautiful rolled arm sofa. Now, if you guys saw my video on what I love about traditional design, you will remember that a rolled arm sofa or like a Chesterfield is actually one of my favorite things. I really love this. I think they really hit it out of the park. I love the style. I love the rolled arms. I think it's got a beautiful shape. It's interesting. It looks comfortable. It looks inviting. It would work in a traditional, maybe more of a transitional space, to be honest, but I think it could work in a range of different styles. It's really cool. Okay, next up, we are moving into IKEA's, I'm gonna call it like their small scale floral sort of area of the store, which is very popular right now. This is something that we're seeing in design in general. You know, I've talked about cottagecore being a interior design style a lot of people love, but even sort of variations on it. I think a lot of people are loving these floral patterns, whether they be in throw cushions, on bedding sets, on tea towels, on, I mean, even full on pieces of furniture, which is a lot for me, but you know, some people seem to love them. These aren't my style, but they might be your style, right? Like this is something that I'm seeing a lot of from IKEA. So the Karrdunort, there's two umlauts in that name, that's just not fair. And this is this really, I do like the color. It's again, this green color that we're seeing is so popular. You're gonna see that throughout this video, by the way. And it's a really interesting, kind of cool bedding set. Again, if you really love those small scale florals, I think this might be a really good option for you. But you know, they also have lots of different other ones. They've got, as I said, they've got throw pillows. They've got this tray, which is actually the same pattern as that bedding set, but you're seeing it in sort of a plastic sort of tray, which is kind of cool. You're seeing it in art as well. So IKEA's really brought these small scale sort of floral patterns and sort of woven it throughout all their different collections. So lots of ones that I'm seeing there for fall, which really does fit into that sort of trend that we're seeing in other areas and other stores as well. Okay, next up is the Vardande collection, which apparently means becoming. So I did a little Google search there. And this is really interesting. This is a sustainable initiative from IKEA where they work with small craftspeople from around the world, and they create sort of these beautiful collections that are handmade, but are from sort of small scale initiatives, which is different than sort of the kind of large scale mass produced stuff that IKEA normally makes. So it's kind of leveraging this trend towards people wanting to buy from smaller producers, wanting to support more family owned or responsibly run sort of enterprises that pay fair wages, etc., while also working with what IKEA is known for, which is cheaper prices and mass produced items and shipping the same black table to, but you know, I don't don't love it. It's the same lac table to every IKEA in the world. I mean, how many billions of those things have they sold, right? So it's trying to sort of walk that tightrope, and I think they did a really good job. There's a very sort of serene, relaxing sort of vibe. This is very much the same as the low cult collection that they did last year, which I talked about a year ago on one of my last videos, well, ages ago, last fall video. I think this is something we're gonna see from IKEA on an annual basis, where they're gonna bring in, you know, once or twice a year, these limited run collections that are quite cohesive, so you can buy from all different ones, but they are more sustainably sort of produced than some of their, well, I wouldn't say some of their other stuff. Like it's not, well, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like it seems to be, they're working with smaller scale enterprises, which is different than their usual strategy. So definitely one to check out. So next up is the Blidvader, which is a speckled sort of cream ceramic base. I love this one. I'm gonna put this in the category kind of like the sofa we talked about earlier. Not my style, wouldn't have it in my own home, but I love it for other people's homes because I think it's really, really cool. I love that it's a gorgeous kind of, it's not just like a white, it's like a little bit creamy, and it's kind of got this sort of speckled, rough sort of texture that they have on there. I think it's a really beautiful table lamp, and I hope it sticks around because I think it's kind of really neat. And again, works with a lot of the other styles that IKEA is working with right now, which is part of bigger trends that are happening in all the different retailers that we're seeing. And a different lamp, but I think also cool, is the Symfonisk speaker lamp. So Symfonic? Anyway, whatever it is. It's their collaboration with Sonos, which I think is very, 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 very cool. So I love Sonos. I have Sonos in my own home. And I think this is a really smart strategy for IKEA to partner, especially in the tech space where they're not strong. So to sort of work with these sort of tech brands in a little bit more of a partnership, because IKEA usually likes to go it alone. That's always kind of been their strategy, to kind of do their own thing. But I think they've realized that they're not very good at technology, and they should probably partner with brands that kind of know what they're doing. So I think this is a really successful partnership, and this lamp is just sort of an extension of that. It's got this really cool caning on the front, which I think is really neat. Again, fits into the trends that we've seen so much caning over the last few years. This sort of basket weave is beautiful. I think it's really cool. Very different sort of vibe, a little bit more modern than we saw from the previous lamp. And again, because it's Sonos, it's gonna be integrated with the Sonos app and all the Sonos stuff, so that's kind of cool as well. So really leveraging what IKEA is good at, which of course is their furniture and their brand and their presence globally, while also partnering with a brand like Sonos that clearly knows what they're doing in the sound space and kind of the technology stuff. So very, very cool. This is the Obegransad, whatever it is. This one is a collaboration with Swedish House Mafia, which has been much anticipated, and I did get to see it all when I was at IKEA last week, and it's very, very neat. So everything is done in this matte black, and it's very sound focused, of course, because it's a collaboration with Swedish House Mafia. I would say that sort of the hero product is going to be the record player. I can't speak to the quality of the record player, I don't know, but it is very, very cool as being very black and dark and moody and awesome. It looks very cool. I don't know if it's any good. This isn't a tech channel. This isn't an audio channel. That's not why you came here. It looks neat, and I think that it's really cool, especially if you're going for more of an aesthetic choice with a record player rather than necessarily, you know, actually listening to records. But then they have a whole bunch of other products that sort of surround that, which are also really neat. So they've got everything from furniture, like they've got this interesting side chair, which again is super jet black. They've got this table lamp, which is really neat. They've got this standing bar light. This is probably one of my favorites of the collection. I think if you are looking to just put kind of a nice modern light to sort of maybe turn it away from the rest of the room and just sort of stick it into a corner and have the soft glow sort of sit on the back of the wall, I think that's really neat. For something like an office, I think that'd be cool. A bedroom would be really neat, especially if it's like a teen's room or like a really, really modern monochromatic space. I think it would work beautifully. And then they've also got their iconic black sort of IKEA bags that are now completely jet black. So if you love the IKEA bags, which I've never really owned one to be honest, but a lot of people love them. I think you can just store absolute massive amounts of stuff there and they look really strong and durable, but maybe the blue and yellow is not for you. This is the moment to grab it in a matte black. Very cool. This is, I think, IKEA also, again, really going into the sound direction, and I think it is a very cool collaboration for them to get involved in, and also a really good integration sort of into that Symfonisk sort of line that we've talked about, and the whole Sonos integration, all that stuff. I think they're definitely trying to go after that space to be sort of the best kind of in class in this sort of area, especially maybe not to appeal to true audio people, but for people that want good audio, but also care about style as well, which is probably more the category that I would fit into. So I think this is really cool. Okay, they also have the Gradvis plant pot. This one is new for me. IKEA's really stepped up a lot of their sort of pots and vase sort of selection that they have. I've always thought the garden center is one of the areas of IKEA that people don't talk about enough of, because it can be a really great way to score some awesome deals. Snake plants and all that sort of stuff I think is really cool, and any sort of plants and pots that are usually ridiculously expensive, and I don't know why they are so expensive from other stores, but they're usually a really good value at IKEA. Usually though, the problem is they're really boring because they're from IKEA, but a lot of these actually look really interesting, and I think they've really come a long way with a lot of their pots and planters and vases and things like that. So definitely worth a look. Okay, the Olderdalen nightstand is in this really cool sort of sage green and light kind of beech wood, which I think is a combination that IKEA has been doing for a little while now, and I think it really works well for them. I think it plays into their sort of wheelhouse. They obviously love doing these sort of light blonder woods, which they have been doing for a while now and have been very successful. But I think this combination of this really sort of light toned down sort of sage green tone, which is everywhere right now, combining these two in something like a nightstand, I think is really cute. It has this interesting, cute little shelf there, so you can put your phone, you can put books, whatever you want in your nightstand, your glasses, what have you, you can just store there, which I think is neat. Okay, the Huldhet spice jar and sort of line is really great for fall 2022. So this is a line that I don't know if it's going to be in stores for that much longer. So if you are looking to get it, I would really sort of, you know, get your shoes on, because I don't know how long this one's gonna last. So the color scheme really for this entire collection is going to be black and sort of light brown glass, as well as walnut. Now, here's the thing that I really love about this collection is that IKEA used real walnut wood, which is rare for IKEA, because so often my criticism is, and it's not really, well, is it criticism? Because they're just clear about what they do, right? They usually get it to a price point where you're going to see some trade-offs in order to get the price that low. So they, you know, we know this about IKEA, right? Like they might not use the most expensive wood. They might use a wood veneer. They might use particle board, right? Like that's what we're kind of used to. And what I think is really cool here is that a lot of these pieces are real solid walnut wood. That's huge for me. So that really is kind of a game changer, because although, you know, this isn't the cheapest, it's not like $6 a piece. They are maybe going to be a little bit more expensive. You are getting real wood, and I think that's a really good value compared to what you're going to get from, you know, this is now, when you're dealing with solid wood or solid walnut, you're kind of playing in the same space as like a Crate and Barrel or any of these sort of more kind of higher end retailers are looking at. So really good job there for using real wood in this collection. So, I mean, obviously it depends on the different piece. So always look to see what the materials are. But if it's real walnut wood, I definitely think it's a great deal. Okay, the Vallasan is also new for fall 2022. And this I wanted to highlight here is just a continuation of that green that we're seeing, right? So seeing it in different towels and hand towels and the whole bathroom collection, I think is very cool. This color I really love in the bathroom. I really like it in the bedroom and I like it in the bathroom. Greens and blues I think just work really well because they're so calming and serene, especially in a primary bathroom and a primary bedroom. They're just really calm and serene and very comforting, and I think that's why they work so well. So this is a very cool collection for the bathroom for you to check out. Okay, and then the next up here is the Tolkning. This is a really cool rattan collection that IKEA has come out with. IKEA really has been doing rattan for a while. I think this is one of their like biggest collections that they've really doubled down on it. And honestly, it's because they hit the sweet spot that IKEA is known for, right? Which is, it's a material that is beautiful, that is a natural material, but it is quite affordable. And so that's why I think IKEA uses it so regularly, because it is also really trendy at the moment. So that combination of affordable and trendy is where IKEA just, that's where the magic happens. And so this collection has a whole range of products. It has a headboard, ottoman, nightstand, it's got plant stands, a storage bench, 2 different types of laundry baskets, it's got a basket with handles, it's also got storage baskets that you can put under your bed. So I think this is really neat. I love the rattan. I love that it's a really cohesive collection. So if you're really liking that sort of boho look and you love a lot of rattan in your home, then I think it's really neat that they have this as an entire collection for you, because you can pull from different pieces that are going to have the same material, so it's all going to feel really cohesive, but it's also really stylish and cool too. And again, it's at an affordable price point because it's IKEA. Okay, next up we have the Ullerslev. Ullerslev. This is a sheepskin throw, and the Ullerslev itself isn't new. It used to be called the Wrens, but then they renamed it. I don't know why, because I think they're the same thing. But anyway, the Ullerslev, and it is in this sort of off-white, and also comes in kind of a chocolate brown. Those are not new, but the new green color is new for this year. So feel free to check that out as well. Really, really cool, assuming that you're comfortable with sheepskin. Now, I will say, like, last time I posted about this, someone in the comments, or a few people in the comments were like, this idiot thinks that the Ullerslev's actually made of sheepskin. And I was like, am I wrong? Like, is it just me? Because it says material sheepskin. So I'm pretty sure that means that it's made of sheepskin and the sheep didn't, you know, it's made of sheep, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I told 100,000 people it's made of sheepskin, and now I'm telling all of you that it's made of sheepskin, and maybe that I'm being stupid and no sheep were harmed in the making of this rug. I don't think that's true, but you know, if enough people say it, you start to believe that you're maybe a little bit crazy, right? So I think it's made of like, it's not appropriate for vegans, let's just say that. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're right, I don't know, but I don't think I'm wrong. And I will also just say that if you are vegan or you are just not comfortable using a sheepskin product, then I also recommend the Gullviva, which is really cool. It's actually an acrylic and polyester blend, and it sort of fulfills kind of the same function as what you're gonna get from the Ullerslev as well. Just obviously it's going to be a manufactured material and not a natural material like sheepskin is. I think sheepskin is anyway, we'll see. Okay, so finally we have arrived at the Christmas or the holiday collection for 2022. So IKEA, you know what? We're seeing the regular sort of usual suspects. Honestly, I do believe going through the IKEA collection this year for holiday, I do love it. I think it's really cool, but I would say that, you know, 80% of what I talked about last year in the IKEA collection video is the same as what you're gonna see this year with some slight modifications. But for the most part, IKEA for the last few years, and several years really, has kind of done a lot of the same stuff for holiday. So if you love IKEA Holiday from last year or the year before, you're gonna love this year's collection. If you didn't love it last year, you're probably still not gonna like it now because it's a lot of the same stuff, kind of style that we saw before. Now, having said that, there's still some really great pieces here. I will still say that the best kind of bang for your buck in terms of presence, like physical presence that it takes up in your home, is these lights, these Strala lights that you're gonna see, which are sort of like these light boxes, as well as these sort of paper stars and things like that. These are quite cheap. They're usually around 10 bucks and they're made of paper. So I don't know the longevity of year to year to year, how well they would do, but for $10, they really do have a beautiful presence because they're quite simple, but they have gorgeous colors and they really do provide like a great presence. So if you have maybe a really large space and you're trying to fill it and you're just finding, my gosh, it's just so expensive to buy all these holiday decorations, and you're like, how do you fill this home, all these different rooms, and you're like, where do I get kind of big pieces that are gonna really take up space? These are really great. You know, these are relatively cheap. Again, longevity, not so sure, but they're relatively cheap and they do a really good job of sort of filling your space and providing a little bit of sparkle and fun during the holiday season. IKEA is also really great for sort of twinkly lights, whether that's to use for your tablescape, whether that's to use directly on your tree, whether just to put into a glass vase, kind of to give it a little bit of a sparkly sort of holiday warm glow in your living room. Lots of really, really cool options here for different cute little lights that they have, just really awesome ones that IKEA does so well, and they do it so well. It's the same stuff they do every year, but they honestly just do a really good job of it. But one of the areas actually I think the IKEA is honestly strongest when it comes to holiday is sort of their gift wrapping stuff. I think it's really cute, and I also think that it is really beautiful and kind of classic without feeling, it doesn't feel super trendy, but it also doesn't feel so stuffy and traditional, which is usually not kind of the way that I would go. So kind of has a bit of a Scandinavian charm, which I really enjoy. And they just got really interesting prints on things like gift bags, things like your gift tags and cards and stickers and ribbons and all that stuff. In my personal experience, I usually then do another trip to IKEA in, you know, close to kind of mid-December. I'll probably go again. This stuff is oftentimes very picked over and sold out. So my advice here is, if you're watching this early in the season, is to not just wait on some of these gift wrap stuff, because this stuff tends to go quicker than a lot of kind of the trees and the stars and all that sort of stuff. So I would definitely, the gift wrapping section I think is a really strong area for IKEA because it's so cute and also at a really good price. price. It never reads as really like cheesy or kind of over the top like some of the stuff you might get at, I don't know, like a dollar store, or even some of the stuff at Costco sometimes feels a little over the top for me, or a little bit too sort of traditional, and this just reads a little bit more scanty. So if you love a sort of a little bit more of a modern style, you know, I think that IKEA's gift wrapping stuff is very, very cool. But again, it sells out quickly, so I would move fast. Okay, that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I want to thank my patrons, by the way. I have a Patreon, if you don't know. I'm going to link it in the description if you want to check it out. We do lives usually every few weeks, and I answer a bunch of questions over there. If you guys have any questions about things you've seen in the stores and you want me to comment on them, we have a nice little small intimate live over there, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you to my patrons for being a patron, I guess. So thank you to all my patrons, and also feel free to check out my IKEA playlist if you're interested in seeing more IKEA. So I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.